Mm-hmm.
So welcome to this week's Woman Talk, and I am super excited to welcome my sister, Silfath Pinto. Silfath and I, hi darling, I'm so happy you're here. Silfath and I met in Silfath and I met in Bali. I can't even remember how long ago, but it was love at first sight. I consider Silfath my little sister who teaches me so much about what it means to be a woman in today's world, embracing and embodying my empresshood. And she's just an extraordinary human being. Thank you for being here. Was it a couple of years ago, we led a one-day women's retreat in Bali? You remember that, Silfath?
That was so beautiful. It was such a magical day. Oh my God, yeah.
Such a magical day. And that day has stayed with me. And I know that we'll be doing that work again soon. And we're going to take that work globally. And, you know, as we were saying before we jumped onto this call officially, I feel as though Mother Nature, the universe, the God of our inner standing, sent us off into the world to upscale or up level to where we are now. So one thing I know for sure is that wherever we meet and whenever we meet, the work that we're going to offer to the world is going to be superb. I cannot wait.
And juicy.
Exactly. So one of the things, so many things I want to talk about, but there's something that struck me this morning that I want to share. And I remember you and I being in Bali maybe 4 years ago. And I said to you, you know, I really want to be doing more work with men, but I do not believe I'm qualified to run men's circles. And you gave me this look as if, Nadine, come on, my sister. I remember the look well. And though I have not yet run any complete men's circles, a few months ago while in Tulum, Mexico, teaching on a retreat, I actually had men in the circle. Anyone listening knows that I run women's circles. And their addition, Silfath, next level. They were vulnerable, they were open, they were willing to share, and it actually brought a richness to the circle. So as I've been watching your work recently, I'm aware of the fact that you've been doing deeper work with men, some very good looking men, I might add. And I want to hear more about that. And the other thing I really want to hear about is, when I think of a woman that's embodied in her sexuality, sensuality, and all of the alities, Silfath Pinto is it. Follow her on Instagram. Watch how she moves. Watch how she shows up. Look at her post, even her post. You know, you're about to launch another leadership program, correct?
Yeah.
And the rollout for that in terms of content and quality is next level. So I'm telling you, I keep watching and I says, this woman is on fire. So as regards to your feminine leadership, your somatic experiencing, your alchemical being, tell us, who are you?
That's such a question. I'm going to go a little bit juicy on that one. I would call myself an orgasmic changemaker. Like literally, for me, I really feel that my journey here on earth is to learn the power of love, to learn how to embody love, to learn what it is to be ecstatic as a woman, what it is to be juicy in your body, what it is to be bold in your desire, what it is to dance with the universe, to make love to the universe, what it is to understand alchemy and to create magic, right? And for me, it all comes down to love, and it all comes down to power, understanding the power that lies within us and how we can create magic in our reality and in the world. So I would call myself an orgasmic change maker. And part of it, there's a little bit of a wink in that, because when I started my journey, I was going into it more like kind of the fighter and the struggle, and it's hard, and I want to change the word, and the weight of the word is on my shoulder. And then I was like, oh, I'm dying. This is too exhausting, right? And then what I teach is how to move from fear to love. How I teach is the power of sensuality and pleasure and flow and feminine energy and magnetism and ease and tapping into frequency. So then I was like, wait a minute, I can bring all this change and all this magic in the world in an orgasmic way, not in a kind of like, oh, I'm fighting kind of way, right? And so for me, that's what I would say. I would say that I am an orgasmic change maker. I feel, I explore, I expand in the power of love, and I invite others to join me in that dance. And I truly, truly feel that we can create our heaven on earth. It's a matter of us understanding alchemy and owning our power.
Wow, that is spectacular. You know, as you said that, two things come up for me. One of them is the subtle difference between feminism and femininity. This past summer, I taught a course at the University of the West Indies in Jamaica, gender, sex, and culture, and extraordinary to be teaching these young minds. There are our leaders of tomorrow. And one of the things I really tried to impart to these women is your power is in your femininity. Yeah. So we understand, and I'm going to be very lay person because that's not the nature of why we're here today, where the necessity for the socio-political construct of feminism, but that's not who we are as women, creatrixes, givers of life. And so I love the way you articulated that. I often say, if a woman can get into her vagina, that's pussy power. Now we hear that and we go, oh my God, I can't do that. How could I possibly do that? And I am from the generation, let's face it, that when I start to talk about pussy power, some people go, oh no, that's too brash. But why not? Why not? You know, so as an orgasmic change maker, a sensuality alchemist, and I loved what you said about femininity and power. Talk to me about the essence of power through femininity. I want our listeners to start to drop into what does that mean and how can we access it today, right now?
What's coming to me is catch the wave, right? So basically, when you surf or when you dance, there is a rhythm. There is a rhythm, right? And you feel that rhythm, right? And then let's say there's an acceleration in the music, and when you're really in your body goes, oh, right? And you feel that rhythm, oh, that was good, and you go down, hey, that was good, right? So this is what life is, right? There is a rhythm and there is a pulse, right? There is a moment to start, there is a moment to wait. There is a moment to be, there is a moment to do, right? There is your inner rhythm, your inner song, right? So once you start understanding all that, you get into ease, right? So music, if the music is going, like when people are out of rhythm, when they're not in their body, the music is going, right? And the people are going to keep moving, that the body didn't catch it, right? So it's the same thing in life. When you are in your feminine energy, you work with the frequencies around you and you work with your intuition. You allow yourself to understand that there are rhythm. The masculine is like, do, linear, let's make it happen. And it's not bad or wrong, right? It's just different energy. And each energy has its place at the right time, right? So feminine energy is understanding the wisdom of freedom. But it's also being intuitive and embodied so that you actually feel those rhythm, you feel those intuition, and you respond to them and you work with them. So a client of mine recently in my embodied priestess program told me, you know what? I had to slow down for like 3 weeks. I didn't do much, right? And she was like, although a part of my head was like, you need to get things done, you need to do this, you need to do that, my body was telling me, don't do anything, slow down, right? And she was like, I felt bad. I said, yeah, because it's the masculine conditioning of you have to always be efficient in getting things done. But the feminine wisdom understands rhythm and cycles, Mother Nature, season, winter, right? Spring, summer, right? So sometimes it's your winter time. You're not supposed to do much, right? During the summer and during the summer, you did a lot, and the fall, you kind of balance everything, and then winter, you slow down. And you allow now the energy that you put out there to keep growing and keep moving. And you're not doing much, but the seeds that you have planted is growing, right? And you're resting. So feminine power is starting to understand that there is rhythm, starting to listen to your intuition, and not trying to do all of it by yourself.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. I'm a huge victim of that. I will confess. I remember you called me on it a few years ago, and that's in this sort of heavy masculine and achievement. And it's like, what are we trying to prove? I mean, the last several months have been me returning to Jamaica, the source of my wounds and trauma, as it were. You know, the universe is a beautiful place. It will take you right back to where you need to learn those lessons and cut those cords and break those cycles. And
Yeah.
so coming out of, and I really want my Jamaican sisters and brothers listening to this to listen mindfully to what Silfath and I are sharing, because all of this overachievement and youngness, it's not necessary. And you can get the same thing done with a softer energy. You can catch bees with honey or with vinegar. Choose honey, please.
Exactly. And so that brings me to the second aspect, right? Like there is the wisdom of cycles and rhythm and finding an ease with dancing with the universe and dancing the energy, right? There is not needing to do all of it by yourself, because we have ancestors, we have guides, we have angels, we have the wind, we have the earth, we have fires, we have all those energies around us that can support us. And we're like, no, I'll just struggle by myself and do it all by myself. Like the women in my embodied priestess program, some of them have been working with the spirit of fire for the last 3 months, because that activation brought so much clarity and focus and personal power. They meditate with fire every day, right? Some of them is the rose, right? Different energy, right? Because this is a different medicine that you need right now. And so there is working with people, working with the energies around you. And then the honey that you mentioned, there is understanding the alchemy of magnetism and pleasure. That's one of the feminine juiciness, you know, because a big part of our making is our sensuality. A big part of our making is our pleasure. So, you know, we have 8,000 nerve ending for pleasure in our clitoris.
Yes.
How many men have? Half less. So when I hear women say, oh, men, they cannot resist, or they cannot be serious because, you know, it's their urge. They have some urges we don't have. I'm like, actually, biologically, the woman gets more turned on than the men. We have 8,000 nerve endings for pleasure. Men have 4,000. The reason why we don't access that wealth of pleasure is because of all the conditioning, the taboo, and the shaming. And so it's repressed. And the reason why women are meant to be anchored in pleasure is because we are the honey that feeds the tribe, right? And when women are in the pleasure, it creates a magnetic field that brings ease and things happen more easily, right? So actually it's counterintuitive, because when people want to make things happen, it's like, and even sometimes I still get caught up in the whole paradigm, right? It's like, do. As soon as I stop, I plant the seed right? And then I position myself to receive, and I receive and anchor myself in the dancing, in the pleasure, in the spa, whatever. Bam, things start shifting. Amplification of the magnetic field.
And that is the quantum realm right there. You know, that's what the quantum realm is. And if you think about it, I often say to people, you have to pause to move to the next level. I know this to be true because I have seen it myself. If I'm moving at the speed of light, doing, I miss the nuances. I miss the information that my body is trying to share and show me and point me in the next direction. And particularly for us as women, the conditioning, as you mentioned, be it religion, be it education, be it family, it's not okay for us to have pleasure. So whenever we feel pleasure, we're guilty, or we feel we need to objectify that pleasure, and pleasure just is. So thank you for making that distinction, Silfath. Huge. You know, I can already tell that you and I are going to have to do another discussion because so many gems are coming up from the little that we've just shared, you know. I want to hear about your men's work. I'm so proud of you, my sister. Thank you. Thank you for holding the space. And I've observed a couple of your Instagram lives and stuff, and my repeated experience and observation is the shift that women are seeking in the men. We have got to co-create it. We have got to hold the space in order for their vulnerability to come through, because we birth them. They come out and through us.
You know, in my current program, every month we have an activation, and this month is the feminine masculine activation. The month before was ecstasy and magnetism. This month is feminine masculine within ourselves and in our relationship. And so we did a journey, a meditation, and they're quite advanced now. And the goal of the meditation was for them to receive healing and to receive activation awareness that will shift their perspective completely and heal their relationship with the dance with the feminine and the masculine. Because we have to understand that there is a rift, like between the feminine and the masculine, and that's what's creating most of the trauma and the dysfunction that we see in our world. And that rift is coming from Eve and Adam's story, part of it. Because Eve and Adam's story basically is saying Eve manipulated Adam into doing something that he was not supposed to do, and he got kicked out of heaven. So that's anchored, right, in the psyche of men. Basically, if you trust women, they're going to bring you down. That's terrible. That's terrible. So now you have a story that is in the psyche of men and women feeling like something is wrong with me, right? And I did something wrong, so the shame, the guilt, etc. And then men being like, women are manipulative, and if you trust her, she's going to bring you down. Okay, so that's kind of the background of the story. So now when I'm working with men, or when I'm bringing men into the story, everyone is becoming aware of that story and what we can do to shift it. But coming back to what you said, one of the women had a message, and when she came back and when she said that, everyone in the group was like, damn. And the message from the masculine was, I need you to have my back so that I can rise.
Shay. Ooh, I need you to have my back so I can rise. Thank you.
And I was like, ooh. So women are a little bit in the sense that they're like, okay, we're doing our work. What are you doing? Right? Please do your work too. Where are the men who are doing the work? And basically, the moment that men will feel that we truly love the wounded part of them and see the king in them, and that we really backing them, right? Backing the boy and backing the king, they're going to rise. All right? And, you know, Nadine is
You see why I've waited months to have this sister on woman talk, right? She's dropping some true gems here. Don't lose your train of thought. But one of the things I heard a lot of these young women in this university program talk about vis-a-vis their relationships with men is, I might speak a little patois here. You'll understand me from Benin. Me now cook for no man. If him want to eat, him have to cook himself. Me now wash clothes for no man. And I'm going, hang on a minute. When did you decide that these were the parameters in which you operated in your relationship? And they were adamant, Silfath. And I said, well, it's serving. There's the king, and as he serves, you are served. It's a dance. Talk to me a little bit about, and it's one of the things I love, and I have to be very careful how I say this because Africa is not a country, boys and girls. Talk to me about this as it relates to your culture, you being from Benin, your internationalness. Talk to me about that.
There are many layers in that conversation. Okay.
Yes.
The first layer is the layer of a relationship being a sacred container where we take care of each other. Okay. I'm on a call. Right. So it's a container where we take care of each other. So taking care of each other will depend based on the relationship, right? Maybe your man wants you to take care of him by cooking. It's not a problem. The question is, are you creating a relationship with your partner where you're both being taken care of? That's the conversation, right? Maybe you take care of your man by cooking for him. Maybe he takes care of you by giving you, foot massage, right? For instance, all right? Or maybe take care of you by running you around when you want to go do your shopping, whatever, right? So each couple figure out what's their dance. The key word is caring for each other, right? So I don't mind cooking for my man, but I also do love a man who cooks for me. Right? Right? And so the conversation is not so much what do I do for him? The conversation is, are we in a dynamic where we understanding that we are here to serve each other and
serve,
to support each other?
Support and care, and that it's like this. Yes. Yes. I loved what you said. Oh my God. I loved what you said, Silfath, when you said, if I cook, maybe he gives me a foot massage. That's the gateway to sensuality. You don't know where that foot massage. Exactly. And so thank you for that example, because one of the things that breaks my heart is when we believe that it's, if I do this, then you do that. That's not a relationship. That's a contract. And there's a contractual element to that as well. But as we're talking about sensuality and interacting and sharing life with someone, it's the wave that you spoke about. It's not black and white.
It's not black and white. And at the same time, it's mirrors, right? So women, we have been a bit trained to feel like we have to serve the man, we have to earn the man, we have to keep the man, right? And that's the energy that is off, right? We come into a relationship knowing our worth. We come in a relationship with a level of self-love and self-care, not waiting for the person to be or do, right? And not doing from a place of scarcity and fear, right? So women can talk about men are this, men are that, but usually when I work with sisters, I ask, how much do you care of yourself? How much do you put yourself as a priority? How much do you value and celebrate yourself? Because your partner is going to reflect that, right? Unfortunately, a lot of time, because of our training, we don't come in a relationship with already feeling turned on, ecstatic, juicy. Or we come that way, but when we're in the relationship, we focus so much now on keeping the man that we stop doing all that, right? So those are all the conversations that women want to have, right? We tend to sit and point finger, and point finger. But the reality is men are a reflection of ourselves, right? If as a collective, the women are like, this is our standard, this is the level of love and caring and respect, right? I'm going to bow down to you. I expect you to bow down to me. If we all come with that level, men can only rise to the occasion, because you know what? They won't have any choice, right? That will be the frequency they're meeting everywhere, right? And there are men who are, by the way, lots of men who are already at that level of devotion and caring and deep respect for women, right? When I do my retreats in Bali, I have a waiting list of men who wants to come, right? And even here, I meet men, African men, who are devoted to the woman, devoted to the family, right? My brother had a terrible relationship, and it took him 2 years, and he gave so much into it. So, you know, there are so many myths about men. It's a reality, but it's not the only reality.
Wow, beautiful. Silfath, we have landed a conversation rich. I would invite anyone who is listening to this, you want to listen to this more than once. Listen to what my sister says about Adam and Eve. Listen to the gems that she drops about relationships and supporting each other. Listen to her talk about being an orgasmic change maker and what that means. Listen to her, listen to me, listen to us. Silfath, how can people find you, one? And two, what is one word of wisdom that you would like to leave our listeners with?
Okay, they can find me on Instagram, Silfath Sophia. This is where I spend most of my time. I have a course coming up now. It's a 3-month initiation in being an ecstatic woman and a sacred lover. So it's all about being a turned on, orgasmic, open woman.
And when does that start? What date does that start?
It starts the 25th, and opening is going to be until the 10th of August. 10th of August, I'm going to close the circle.
So that's from the 25th of July to the 10th of August. So it's
3 months, but from the 25th to the 10th, people can still register. And at the 10th, I will close the circle, because then we'll be too advanced in the journey for people to come in and to catch up.
Okay. Good.
So one word of wisdom. Where do we start? Where do I choose?
Let me put the question another way for you. I'm going to make myself vulnerable, and you know me. What is one word of wisdom you'd like to impart to your big sister today who is open to receiving?
Yeah. The key word that is going to come to me is pleasure. Right? It's just understanding what pleasure is for you, where you are with your pleasure. And when I say pleasure, people tend to think often about sexual pleasure. I'm talking about, you know, how present are you when you're watching the sunset, and how open are you for your body to be turned on and light up by the beauty, the majesty that you are witnessing, right? What is like when I do the retreat in Bali, we get to the waterfall and everyone is screaming because we feel the energy and the power of the waterfall. Everyone is screaming and releasing. And then there is a moment where the majesty of the place, the nature around just hit everyone. And everyone just calms down and start praying. That's pleasure.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you. I wish for you, as I wish for me, continued health, wealth, abundance, joy, and pleasure. I love you.
I love you too, my sister.
All right, and we talk very soon. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon. There's a chance, by the way, I may be in Dubai in November. I will check in with you when that is happening. Yes.
Ooh,
Yes,
be waiting
yes.
for you.
All right. Love you, honey. Thank you so
Love
much.
you, my love.
Okay,
Thank you for
take
having
care.
me.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.